to help us understand the economic context of this issue of early childhood investment. And why is it even called early childhood investment instead of education or development or success? Investment really is a word that our next speaker understands quite well. Michael Mandel is a former senior editor of and chief economist at Businessweek, and he now is editor-in-chief of a business called Visible Economy, which combines journalism and education. He hails from New Jersey, and he told me last night at dinner that he has been a numbers man all his life. Numbers have been, his reason for existence, and he reminded me that he subscribes to the philosophy that 41% of all statistics are made up on the spot. So please welcome Michael Mandel.
Maybe not 41%, maybe 42%. It's my great pleasure to be in Madison this morning. This is the first time that I've ever been in this great city. The taxi driver coming in from the airport gave me the full scoop. Culture, science, where to eat. Somebody should hire this guy. He packed it all in the short trip in. Steve mentioned I was chief economist at Businessweek many years, writing about this incredibly important topic. Now, I don't really quite know what to call myself. Let's call myself an entrepreneur and an economist, trying to combine news and education in new and different ways. What I'm going to talk about this morning is the economic context for early childhood investment and why it's so important. Right now is a funny time. The immediate financial crisis is over. Nobody is talking anymore about the next Great Depression. Instead, we hear, if you watch TV, if you watch CNBC, if you watch the financial news shows, you hear the sounds of optimism kind of wafting out there. The stock market is up, tra-la-la-la-la. But now, really the right way to think about this is that we have a bit of time to assess where we've been, where we are now, where we're going. And the only way that I can summarize it is saying that we lost our way. We lost our way. Over the last 10 years, 10, 15 years, we cared too much about short-term gratification. Think imported big screen TVs. I should ask, I'm not going to do that. I could ask, okay? We cared too much about short-term gratification and too little about long-term investment in our future. And when we did invest, we put money into the wrong things. Think bigger homes. You look at the numbers and it's actually astounding. In the Midwest, the average size of new homes in 2008 was 2,300 square feet, up from like 2,100 square feet a decade earlier, up from 1,900 a decade before that. The homes just keep getting bigger and bigger. Nationally, the average for new homes was 2,500 square feet. And I don't know about you folks, but that's not the size home that I live in now. And what you know is that bigger homes are not going to win the global competitiveness race. Bigger homes, flat screen TVs are not going to produce good jobs for the future. The size of the economic crisis that we're in right now can be summed up with one set of numbers, which is that the country as a whole has not produced any new private sector jobs, net new private sector jobs over the last 10 years. Wisconsin, unfortunately, has done worse than the country as a whole. In the private sector, the number of jobs in this state has fallen over the last 10 years. Real incomes are down. Manufacturing has been hollowed out. And don't let anybody tell you that that's not important. In many ways, this has been a lost decade economically. And so the question is, how do we get unlost? And really the only answer here is to get back to basics. what made America prosperous was the willingness to invest in education, human capital. And the word investment is actually a key one here, because you think about investment as something that has financial and economic payoffs for the future. We have to start investing again in the intangibles that produce a sound foundation of growth. Now, it's absolutely essential for me to acknowledge right here that there's an awful lot of debate about what the federal government and the states should be investing on, should be spending on. There's lots of possibilities. Higher ed, retraining of workers, funding for economic development, research and development. All of these are investments for the future. But to me, the reason why I'm here this morning is that early childhood education is like the foundation of a house. You can fix up the rooms, you can redo the kitchen, you can put in a pool, but ultimately, if you don't have a strong foundation, everything else suffers. If you expect to be living in the house 10 and 20 years from now, you had better make sure that that foundation is strong. The nice thing about early childhood education is that it's one investment that everyone can agree on. When you think about, when you're a business and you think about investment, you think about spending money now, you think about payoffs in the future, economic payoffs. That's exactly what we get with early childhood investment. You get payoffs, short-term, medium-term, long-term. So for me, when I think about early childhood investment, I think about rebuilding the foundations of our economy, and that's what we need to do right now. Thank you.